Hey book friends, it's Kira with Bookstaglamkira, and I decided that it was time for me to revisit my TBR shelves. After a couple months of really focusing on my outstanding arcs, I knocked a bunch of those out. I realized that I was kind of ignoring this right here. So now that I feel like I've kind of caught up with my arcs, I decided that I wanted to introduce my TBR jar. So we're in the month of June, and looking ahead, I think that I could probably pick 4 or 5 options from my TBR jar to read over the next 2 months. So I certainly have some commitments for book clubs and some other arcs that I have already decided that I'm going to read for the next 2 months, but I think that I can squeeze a few more on there. So let's get started. I have my daughter to thank for this little jar. She wrote all of these, so some of these might have some misspellings, but I think we can figure out what she put on there. So props to my daughter. Let's do this. And she wrote them on sticky notes, so some of them are a little sticky and they're sticking together. So let's see. There's 2 here. I'm gonna read the first one. The first one is, oh, this is a cute one. I love this. It says, matches my outfit. Matches my outfit. So that's the first book. And so my outfit today, it's just a solid color. It's gonna be kind of a turquoisey green blue. I've got that in my earrings too. And I'm already thinking of a couple covers that have that color. The next book that I'm going to pick, and I should say I'm going to announce all of these and then I'm gonna go back to my shelves and see 2 or 3 options, show them to you guys, and then determine what I'm going to pick. Also, there might be like a book that's been on my TBR for the longest or shortest book, and I decided that instead of just picking the shortest in that example, I'm gonna pick the 3 shortest and then decide from there. So the next one, ooh, this one says building on the cover. So building on the cover, we'll keep that out. We'll go back to the jar for book number 3. Let's see, okay. Again, they're sticking together. Okay, I've got 1 here. So third book, ooh, this is a fun one. Okay, it's hard to see, but it says prettiest book. So I'm gonna go based on prettiest cover of a book. So we've got prettiest cover. That was book number 3. So far we don't have longest book, so I think maybe we could do 5. Whoops. All right. Okay. So, okay, there's 2 here. So I'm going to use these for books 4 and 5. So book 4 is Histfic, historical fiction. Perfect. So we got our first genre assignment. And then the last one, book number 5, is going to be newest book. So again, I'm gonna go back on my most recent book purchases, the 3 most recent, and then we'll decide from there which one we're gonna go with. All right, so again, we've got matches my outfit, building on the cover, prettiest book or prettiest cover, historical fiction, and newest book. Stay tuned and I'll see what we decide to get. All right, book friends, I've got some options. I think I know what I'm going to pick, but who knows once I start reading the synopsis to you if I change my mind. So the first one that I have is matches my outfit. So again, I've got turquoise on. I actually found 3 options and they're all beautiful. So the first one, and this was actually the one that came to mind when I pulled this, it's called Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen. This was a book of the month selection a couple months back. I don't know a bunch about this. The thing that really caught my attention was a lot of readers were comparing this to Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, and I loved that story. That was a 5-star read for me. So that definitely caught my attention. The cover is beautiful, so I might actually bend the rules and count this for the what I'm wearing and the prettiest book, because I'm the boss, right? This is my video, so why not? So anyway, what I do know is that we've got this couple or these two individuals that basically keep killing each other and then coming back and doing it again over and over. So from that concept, the eternal life, similar to Addie LaRue. But beyond that, I don't really know a whole lot about the plot to the story, so we'll have to check that out. The next one that I picked out that would match my outfit, it's kind of questionable. I guess it's got a little bit more lighter blues. This is Maya Natasha by Elsie Durham. I actually was gifted this by the publisher, thank you Mariner Books. I believe this is a historical fiction that is based on, I think it's Russian ballerinas. I guess I could read the synopsis here. Maya and Natasha are twin sisters born in the midst of the siege of Leningrad in 1941 and immediately abandoned by their mother, a prima ballerina at the Kirov Ballet who would rather die than not dance. Taken in by their mother's best friend at the Kirov, the girls are raised to be dancers themselves. The Vaganova Ballet Academy and the totalitarian Soviet regime is the only world they know. So this is interesting to me just because I did dance as a young ballerina, and I do enjoy a good historical fiction twist. So just kind of learning about history while also learning about a hobby. And then the third one I picked that matches my outfit is the second in the series from Bryn Weaver called Leather and Lark. If you've read the first one, which the name is escaping me, it's one of those things where you're like, what am I reading? Am I enjoying this? I'm kind of enjoying this. Is that weird? So I've just put this off. I don't know. Maybe it's time, right? Maybe it's time that I read it. So those were the three that I picked out that matched my outfit. And I think I am going to double up. Obviously, I want to read all these at some point, but just as a starting point, I think I am going to pick Our Infinite Fates. So that is going to double up for my prettiest book as well as matches my outfit. All right, the next one we had was historical fiction, and I was actually surprised when I went to my bookshelf. I didn't have as many historical fiction as I thought I did. I think part of that is I tend to, when I pick up historical fiction, I am in the mood or it's for a book club, so then I just read it right away. It's not, for me, I'm not always in the mood for a heavy historical fiction, and I think that explains why I read it right away. So I only found two. The first one I have, again, this was an advanced reader copy from the publisher. I haven't read it yet. Women of Platform 2 by Laura Anthony. Thank you Gallery Books on this. So Platform Q. And it says, Dublin 1969, Mara has just married Dr. Christy Davenport and they look forward to starting a family. But as her husband's vicious temper emerges, Mara worries that her home may never be safe for a child. Meanwhile, her close friend Bernie and mother of 3 learns the devastating news that if she conceives again, her health complications could prove fatal. And it looks like it's a dual timeline, so then it fast forwards to Dublin 2023. A close call makes, I do not know how to say this name, Sayors, realize that being a mother may not be something she even ever wants. Little does she know that only a few decades ago, a group of women made this option possible for her, and she's about to meet one of them. That's actually intriguing. I gotta say, I haven't read the synopsis, so like I said, I might change my mind. And then the other one was a Good Morning America pick. It's called Junie, and it's a historical fiction. I love the cover, by the way. That's so pretty. And it says, 16 years old and enslaved since she was born, Junie has spent her life on Bellarine Plantation in Alabama, cooking and cleaning alongside her family and tending to the white master's daughter, Violet. Her daydreams are filled with poetry and faraway worlds, while she spends her nights secretly roaming through the forest, consumed with with grief over the sudden death of her older sister, Minnie. And I gotta say, I am trying to actively read more own voices, especially in the historical fiction area with slavery and those types of things. So it looks like the author is Erin Crosby Eckstein. So based on that, I am leaning towards this. Again, I want to read all the books, you guys, but I am going to go with Junie for my historical fiction selection. All right, moving right along. The next one is Building on the Cover. I pulled two. The first one is one of the Lori Gilmore series. I figured, what is it called? I forget what the actual series is called, but she's got a variety of these that I've read. So the Strawberry Patch Pumpkin, oh my God, pumpkin. Let's try this again. The Strawberry Patch Pancake House. There's another one, this pumpkin, by Lori Gilmore. So again, we just have some characters that we visited in previous books. My favorite one personally was the Christmas Tree Farm, because there was a main character that shared the same name as me and she liked dogs. So I don't know that we can beat that one. But this really has a nice summer vibe to it too, so it stood out to me. And then the other one that I picked has been on my TBR for a while, How to Solve Your Own Murder. And this is by Kristen Perrin. I mean, the title pretty much says it all. Basically, someone's trying to figure out who murders them. It says it's 1965 and teenage Frances Adams is at an English country fair with her two best friends. But Frances's life takes a hairpin turn when a fortune teller makes a bone-chilling prediction. One day, Frances will be murdered. Why can I not get this right, guys? Frances spends a lifetime trying to solve a crime that hasn't happened yet, compiling dirt on every person who crosses her path in an effort to prevent her own demise. It sounds like something I would like. I don't know why it's taken me so long to pick it up. And I believe that there has even been another one by this author that has since come out. So I don't remember what it's called, but I'm envisioning like a green and yellow cover. So I think I'm gonna go with this one. Again, it's just giving me more summer vibes, and it's, you know, it's strawberry season, so why not? And I could totally get a great book photo with this. All right, so we're gonna go with that for Building on the Cover. And then the last one I've got is Newest Book. So this one, no joke, I just picked up today. It still has the receipt in it. So this is called Battle of the Bookstores by Allie Brady. This has a fun story. So I actually came about purchasing this because two of my local indie bookstores decided to battle it out. And so over the weekend, last weekend, they issued a challenge, and basically they were going head to head to see who could sell the most copies of this particular book. And so I'm happy to report they ended up tying, and it was just a great experience and just, you know, giving them a lot of great business. So now I've got to read this book. Battle of the Bookstores, Allie Brady. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Two competing bookstores are going at it, and I've been told there's a pretty cute little ending to it. So there's that one. And then the other one that I pulled, Newest. This was the newest one that I received from a publisher. This is from Mariner Books. Thank you, Mariner. And I think this just came out a few weeks ago. It doesn't have a date on it because, oh, it's a finished copy. It is so pretty. It's got kind of a glimmery, glistening look to it. And so I've got to say, this wasn't on my radar, so just kind of exploring new books. It says, Rai, Kiki, and I are three sisters divided by distance and circumstances. Ambitious Rai works for cannot talk today, guys. Works in finance in London. Kiki is the single mother of a young son working in a retirement home in Tokyo. And I, the youngest, is a peripatetic Japanese music idol. I totally just butchered that. Having lost both parents, one way or another, the sisters rely on each other as family, far-flung as they are. So it sounds like there's a lot of family drama that then comes to play there. And that is Kakigori Summer by Emily Itami. And I think I have to do this because everybody's going to be talking about this book just with the contest that happened over the weekend between the bookstores. So I'm gonna have some major FOMO if I don't read this one soon. So I think I'm going with that one. And so here are my selections, guys. I've got Our Infinite Fates, Junie, The Strawberry Patch Pancake House, and Battle of the Bookstores. More to come on reviews and thoughts on these. Enjoy your summer, everybody. We'll talk soon. Let me know if any of these are on your summer reading, and we can compare notes. Thanks.